We are about to show you some pictures of us surfing the beautiful Micronesia. Based on the pictures, you might think the waves look consistent and perfect. But if you just packed up your boards and showed up here, you are very likely to get no waves, but plenty of reef cuts. One needs to have deep knowledge of the island, perfect timing, and quite a bit of luck to score awesome surf. Our most valuable asset was Uncle Matt, who has lived on the island for 14 years. He and some early pioneer surfers really figured out all the surf spots around the island. After years of exploration, he knows what wind, tide, swell direction, and swell size are best for each spot. He knows where all the hidden rocks lay, waiting to skewer the kooks. He told us to come to the island around December, where you are most likely to score awesome waves. But even then, you need a bit of luck. Apparently the year before, there was no good surf till April. The Pratts must have a lucky star among us, because boy did we score some awesome swells. The conditions during our stay varied enough that we got to see several spots around the island perform. The first spot we surfed with fingers on the day we arrived. To get out to this wave, you first need to paddle about 500 meters past the outer reef. When standing on the shore, the waves look tiny, but once you get out, you realize they are not that small. The waves break over flat slabs of reef, and they can peel nicely if the swell direction is right. Hence, it is a longboard wave. We surfed on days as small as 2 feet and as big as 6 feet when the tide is high. You don't want to risk it at low tide because the reef can be very sharp. You especially want to avoid drifting to the left, since the reef there is especially shallow, and they bite hard. The water is usually 80 degrees Fahrenheit or 26 degrees Celsius. When we first got into the water, we thought we were going to boil. Therefore, our favorite time to surf there is at dusk. We would surf and watch the sunset over the lush mountains. We were the only surfers around, and the paddles back in the dark could be long. But it was so peaceful that I didn't mind. On days when fingers is all blown out, we would venture to the other side of the island, to a harbor with tiny waves. Utway. Coconut palms could be swaying like they are trying to pitch their coconuts at you at fingers. But when you get to Utway, the harbor can be as calm as a lake. The wave breaks over a reef outcrop at the tip of the landmass, and mangrove trees line the shore. Rocks are the biggest hazard here, and several of our boards were the victims. Therefore, surfing here at high tide is a must, but you still need to watch out. Luckily, the water here is usually crystal clear, so as long as you are watching where you're going, you should be able to spot them. This gently peeling left-hander wave is good for long boards, paddle boards, and also for having fun on new boards before you take it out on bigger waves. I enjoyed surfing there on a finless foamy, with no worries about the rocks. I just love the long rides I got, and sometimes I ride them all the way to the edge of the mangroves. As always, I am saving the best for last. It is the biggest monstrosity of a wave a little surfer could take on and survive to tell the tale. It is a thick, pitchy, hollow wave and has big rocks right in its path. It was the biggest fear and biggest thrill of Micronesia for me. It is called To get there, we have to take a 10-minute boat ride. On the way there, you can feel the swell as the otherwise flat ocean would suddenly have peaks in the valley. which can psych me out. You can't really see the size until you get close. While sitting in the channel next to the break, it sometimes felt like the waves were going to crash on the boat. But it never does. When the wave came and the wall started to build, I really just wanted to pull out. But I was determined, so I had to force myself to keep paddling. The drops were the steepest I have ever done, and I had tried to pop up really fast. Definitely no dilly-dallying, and I was turning as soon as I popped up. It felt like the waves were going to swallow me up at any time, so the only thing I could do was keep my board pointing towards the exit. After such a scary but exhilarating ride, we can't help but pump our fists and claim the rides. To paddle back out, there is a nice rip in the deep channel that would take you right up back up to the line. So we didn't have to fight the whitewater. After having taken a few falls over the lip and a couple of big sets over my head, my nerves settled down, and I couldn't wait to get more. I realized later that the best waves I had were the ones I didn't think too much about and just went for. Dylan, you would love this wave. But again, this wave doesn't break perfectly all the time, and we were very lucky to have scored some of the best conditions that we could handle. We were lucky to have Uncle Matt, who not only has a boat to take us, but also has all the knowledge of the break. I would say that Micronesia has definitely pushed me to do better every day I paddled out. Uncle Matt urged me into some waves that were outside of my comfort zone, but I learned so much from this experience. His advice will benefit me greatly for all the surfing to come in Vietnam, Morocco, and J Bay.